What is up, guys? Welcome back to the Rev Report. Today we'll be reviewing the 2023 Volkswagen T-Roc R. Stay tuned. So this is the T-Roc R in all its glory. As you can see, it is a small SUV from Volkswagen, another one yet, similar to the Tiguan and the T-Cross. However, they have made an R version of their small SUV, being the T-Roc. So is this the same thing we expect from a Golf R but higher? Let's find out. So starting off in the exterior, as you can see, it's got a very sporty look, typical of Volkswagen R models, at the same time very conservative. So we've got the black line shadow trim around the exterior, along with the typical Volkswagen mirrors and aluminium roof racks. We've also got a nice moonroof as well. We've also got automatic adaptive cruise control and lane keep assist, and you've got automatic LED lights as well, along with the daytime running lights here. This is a 4Motion all-wheel drive car, just like it's pretty much the same as a Golf R but jacked up. So it's based on the Golf R chassis. You've also got, in terms of braking performance, they are non-slotted and non-drilled brake discs, 340 mils at the front and 310 millimeters at the back. You've got the full LED tail lights along with sequential indicators. You've also got a boot that opens from the Volkswagen logo. You just need to push it in so that it opens automatically, and as you can see, it's a powered tailgate. And you've got plenty of storage here, which I will put in the video right now. And you've got a spare wheel, along with the subwoofer for the sound system, which is a Beats sound system. How convenient. You've also got 4 quad tailpipes, which are all real in fact, not like some other crap that we've seen in recent years. You've got reverse camera, front camera, along with all parking sensors around the car as well. So the key of this car is pretty typical of Volkswagens of the modern era. You've got the lock, boot and unlock buttons, along with the key fob, the key itself, and you can pretty much press and hold the unlock button to roll down the windows as well, which is pretty standard for German cars. I guess not, we must enable it in the settings somehow. You also have keyless entry, so pretty much you can lock the doors, and the mirrors will fold automatically as well and unlock them. Let's go to the door shutting sound, right? You've got a really nice solid thunk, typical of Volkswagens once again. So in this car you have the really original Volkswagen EA888 4-cylinder 2-litre turbo petrol engine. It's coded as the DNF. Did not finish, pretty much. I'm not surprised considering it's a Volkswagen, but anyway, that's a long story. So it does 221 kilowatts from 5300 to 6600 RPM, so around to the higher part of the middle of the rev range, and 400 Newton meters of torque from 2000 RPM all the way up to 5300. So you've got a really wide torque band, which is good. And yeah, plenty of power. You've got it mated to the 7-speed dual clutch automatic gearbox to all 4 wheels. It does sound pretty good for a 4-cylinder 2-litre, and you've also got these nice gear farts as well inside. When you're sitting inside, it does sound pretty nice and pretty beefy as well. And it does a 0 to 100 time in a claimed 4.9 seconds, which you'll see later in the video. And now I'll show you how it sounds like. Pretty quiet, but we'll let it slide. In the interior, this is how it sounds like. So there is a rev limiter, unfortunately, but inside, it sounds pretty good. So jumping into the interior of the the T-Roc R. Really nice looking modern Volkswagen interior, typically conservative. You've got the fully digital cluster here and a large touchscreen right here, which annoyingly does not have a volume knob. It's got a volume slider, which is all touchscreen. And you have the touch capacitive buttoned air conditioning control unit here, but thankfully they have not carried over the Golf 8 vehicle settings shortcuts for the start-stop engine to not stop whilst you're parked at a traffic light. Steering wheel is a flat-bottomed round steering wheel, which is quite nice to hold and really enjoyable to drive. You've got the R badge, and all buttons here are capacitive. They do work quite well. I did have a couple times where it did miss my input, but it goes pretty alright. But yeah, these seats are quite comfortable. They're full leather, and you do have memory electric adjustments along with a beautiful moonroof. Starting it up, you've got this really nice animation whenever you open the door and you hop into the car in the gauge cluster. But whenever we start it up, it just bings and bongs to you as per normal with new cars. You've got this huge display, as I mentioned earlier. You've got pretty much all the safety tech that you require in a modern car, including the active lane assist, active cruise control, adaptive cruise control, along with the blind spot assist as well. This is the gearbox it's paired to, as you can see, and these are all the driving modes that you can select from. So as you can see, you can switch them and they will pretty much change accordingly on the screen. So yeah, at the moment we are in race mode. It is pretty sensible for a race mode, to be honest, but not surprised given it is all-wheel drive. And to be honest, the piano black around the interior and the harder plastics, just up here, like, it's all right. It does have this softer vinyl finish, but on the doors along here, along with the bottom of the door and here, it's all harder plastics, which just make it seem more of a Dacia instead of a Volkswagen or a more basic MG car. You've got a glove box here, which has a lot of space and some coin holders as well, so that's pretty handy. And you've got decent sized cup holders in the middle, decent sized door bins as well, along with the back as well. Or they're a little bit tinier in the back, but they should be fine for the rear doors. You've got a cool white guys, lighting for the interior. Let's shut this up, thank you, which is quite nice. I highly welcome this. So at the rear, you pretty much have decent head and leg room. So just jumping in. So for a normal sized adult, I do have adequate headroom, and I have plenty of foot space as well. So it's not too bad. I think it's pretty comfortable back here. The seats could probably do with more support and more plushiness, but it's pretty good back here. You've got the auto window switches, and pretty basic. I reckon the interior is pretty cheap, nasty plastics, which is typical of this era of Volkswagen nowadays, considering where they are in their business profits and strategies. You've got the double pockets here behind the front seats. You've got air vents and 2 USB sorts to bring it into the modern era of technology. So how the panoramic roof works is these buttons are for the shade. As you can see, there's one click to manually operate it, and then you click it inside so it automatically goes either direction. You've also got this switch here to open the actual sunroof, as you can see, to let in more light. So moving on to the sound system, it's got a Beats sound system. So it's got a pretty nice sounding system. It's got two woofers, two tweeters at the front, and two woofers at the rear. So you've got a total of 6 speakers and 1 subwoofer. It sounds pretty decent. Take a listen. So you've got all these adjustments. As you can see, Beats Audio. At the front, you've got 2 USB-C ports along with the wired Apple CarPlay and Android Auto, and you've got just enough space for, drumroll please, a 16 Pro Max to charge wirelessly. Of course, without a case like this at least. And you've got the auto hold feature whenever you're at a stoplight and you need to let go of the brake. You don't need to press the brake to keep the car stopped, and the automatic parking brake. Surprisingly, this tall and big car has parking assist too. So you can pretty much allow it to automatically park for you and it'll do its job. And you've got the auto start stop feature at a traffic light and stability control options as well. These are your parking sensors, so you can enable, disable that manually here. But yeah, it is a pretty nice car. You've got your heated steering wheel as well, and you can change the view of your gauge cluster right here by pressing view. We would need our rev counter because us rev heads, part of Rev Report, love this stuff. Now, before melting any further, let's take it for a drive. So driving the T-Roc R, to be honest, it's quite a joy to drive. Pretty much you've got that really nice stability you want from a sportier car, and it's a surprising type of stability from an SUV especially. You can toss it around corners. I pretty much see it as like the M2 of SUVs, and it's got really nice pick up and go from the normal modes, as you can see in the normal D mode, and you've got plenty of torque. As we said earlier, 400 Newton meters from just 2000 RPM. What more could you want? Testing out the launch control. I also forgot to mention that this car has plenty of space in the interior. You don't feel like you're wanting more or wanting less. It's just got such a nice, comfortable and spacious interior. It's a little bit stiff because it is the R model and it's not a standard T-Roc, but all this, it's plenty of car for the money, for around 60 grand that you pay. And as you can see, it handles like it's on rails. And you've got that nice deep grunt whenever you shift gears, which is pretty nice to have in this car. You've got that nice little backfire, that deep backfire. You do feel like you're bouncing around the butt sometimes because of that stiff suspension. You can change your drive modes through the R button here and the steering wheel, and it comes up on the screen. Pretty much you can change all these settings. So you've got the stability control, the steering, the drive, engine sound, pretty much all that can be changed. Driving it in the normal mode, it's got a more lighter steering wheel. Driving it in comfort, even lighter. So it's pretty much your standard suite of settings for driving an R model. Ooh. an SUV, this car is heaps fun. That is insane. I'm telling you, this car, wow, it's a blast. It is a blast. The only thing is the manual gearbox doesn't shift. It shifts automatically in manual mode, so it doesn't hold gears. So that is a typical limitation when it comes to those lighter performance cars, but there's still plenty more fun to be had anyway. It's a great car, great daily, along with a performance car. That's what these are made for. I reckon this has a nice sporty edge to it, sportier edge compared to the SQ2. The SQ2 is probably a little bit more mature, whereas this one is a little more nimble and just more fun. And you've got your ambient lighting around the interior. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you like this video, please make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll catch you all in the next one. Cheers.